Yes. You know, it's a little better. What's up, guys? Yeah, first live stream. I'm going to be giving any explanations on vocal bases and beatboxing. Non-vocal bases, just sound explanations. Maybe some jamming, maybe some beatboxing for you guys if you guys want. Who knows? You know, I don't even know how the sound quality on here is, to be honest. It's probably not that good. Let's see.
Thank you for calling Grubhub.
Hey, I appreciate that, George. Thank you. I'm surprised anyone's on here. But thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys can hear me well. I know lighting's really weird. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing some explanation, maybe giving some tutorials, especially my area of expertise being vocal bases, as you all know. You know, lots of different types of bases I can do. Hold on one second, guys. So real quick, just for all the folks already in here, do you guys want me to explain anything? Just real quick, right off the bat, like just any sounds, any beatbox stuff. Now it looks like there's only one person watching now. That's all right. Um, can you guys hear me all right? Can you guys hear my beatbox? Yeah. Drop it like this. I appreciate that, George. Don't, baby girl, don't you worry about tomorrow. Oh, everything will be alright. Let's put that thought aside. Don't, baby girl, don't you worry about what you can't see coming. Hey, everything will be alright. I'll see you tonight. Nape, 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 nape. I'll feel tonight. Nape, 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 ramp, 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 ramp. I'll see it. Sorry. I'll see it tonight. I'll see it tonight. I'll see it tonight. I'll see it tonight. Why? Don't, baby girl, don't you worry about tomorrow. No, everything will be alright. I'll see you tonight. That was pretty unclean. I didn't warm up my voice first. I'm sorry. One second, guys. So yeah, just it's gonna be live streaming. Obviously, there's only one person watching, so not gonna be much to talk about. But if you guys do want to talk about anything, just put it in the chat. You guys want to ask me about how to explain the sound, or especially a vocal bass, I'd be more than happy to. Monster, how should I feel? Creatures lie here, looking through the window, monster. And how should I feel? Creatures lie here, looking through the window, monster. How should I feel? Creatures lie here, looking the window, monster. How should I feel? Creatures lie here, looking through the window. Oh, the window. Oh, the window. Oh, the window. Pull up window. Pull up window. Poop, poop, through the window. What's up, bro? Tots Olympic. Shout out to you. The window. How should I feel? Creatures here, looking through the window. Monsters. How should I feel? Creatures lie here, looking through the window. So, Brawl, since you're new, I was just explaining before you came, I can, explain beatbox sounds on here. I can explain like beatbox vocal bases. That's kind of my specialty if you don't like see a lot of my other stuff that I post on here. Um like I can pretty reliably say I can at least do and understand how to explain at least 11 vocal bases in beatboxing. So, um I know, right? Um That's why I wanna help people, learn to have, like, a name and terms and comprehension of what's going on anatomically for the main bases in beatboxing that you hear. And I don't know if you guys are active on the beatbox subreddit, but, like, about, like, 2 weeks ago, I posted, a document, a Word document that's basically like a resource for many types of vocal bases in beatboxing. So, like, I'm talking throat bass, chest bass, vocalized chest bass, many inward bass variants, like the kind vocoder uses, the kind Dilo uses, um, the kind Trung Bao uses, um, Evo bass, Starsky bass, the subharmonic register basses, um, and yeah, and I published that, and there's a huge explanation on there. I'm not going to really like get into it here, but basically, like if you guys are trying to learn those bases, I try to go in depth about what those bases sound like, how they feel, what parts of your throat cause them, because I do have a background in biology, um, as part of my tertiary education. So I'm not a vocal expert, but my partner is actually a speech pathology major, so she's helped give me a lot of insight to what causes the bases in beatboxing. So I can explain lots of different sounds. I can't do a lot of different sounds, but my specialty is vocal bases, but I can help explain like non-vocal bases too. Like I like many beatboxers of this day and age, like I can do like I would say 9 or 10 lip roll variants. Um, I know lots of lip bases. I know a good amount of tongue bases. I know some uvular bases. I can't do any cheek bases like Trung Bao or Sinjo can. But regardless, no. So I posted that. You guys should go check it out. It's called the Five Families of Vocal Bases in Beatboxing. Basically, I kind of break it down like there's five types or families that all vocal bases that I've seen so far in beatboxing fall under, and they're caused by certain of ones, and you can overlap them, and that's what gives us like the almost limitless diversity of vocal bases you see. And basically, the five families. I have a video on my channel about this. If you guys want to check it out, it's like a TikTok video, so it's only 60 seconds. But if you want to go on the beatbox subreddit, just check five families of beatbox vocal bases. Look it up. The first thing you see, it'll be my document. I'm updating it regularly. But basically, if you guys want me to explain a little bit, um, oh, cool, bro. Thank you. Um, I'll get into what you said about you learn a bass, but you don't know it in a sec. But just let me go on this rant for a sec. So, of course, as you know, Brawl, um, I believe that so far as my knowledge goes, with my experience of being able to do these bases and being able to, well, just I'm informed with my background in biology academically. I believe there's your false fold family of bases, there's your epiglottal family, there's your vocal fry related family, there's your uvular related family, and then there's your suprahyoid muscle related family. What does that mean, Alchemy? Okay, so your false fold family are going to be the vocal bases that are going to activate your false folds. They're what you tend to think of as throat bass or vibration bass. Whoop, whoop. No, no, no. Oh, when you wanna go. Oh, no, no. No, when you wanna go out, throat bass, and then vibration bass is like, no, 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 no. Don't fuck with me, mom. I'm reckless. Those are the false fold family. Your epiglottal family are what you would consider your chest basses. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then like a Slizzer's bass too. Be a friend. Doom, 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 doom. You know, I can't do scissors stuff that well. Including the inward basses like beep, 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 and the low vocalized one. Um, and then basically, sorry, I went offline for a second, guys. Your false fold family is like your throat bass or vibration bass. Your epiglottal family are the parts caused by your epiglottis. It's the little flap that helps separate your wind tube from your food tube to make sure the right stuff's going down the right tube. That's what causes your inward bass variance and your chest bass variance. Your vocal fry related family is going to include inward and outward vocal fry like Darnie, and inward vocal fry like so-so, yeah, yeah, yeah. But also your subharmonic register basses like the regular one, I don't know if you guys can hear that. It doesn't always pick up well. And indicators bass too, the poly sub bass. That's also a type of subharmonic register bass. You probably can't hear that too well. And then Anel's bass too, his electric bass. Harmonic register basses. That's caused by just lining up your vocal fry with your vocalization. Doesn't require any other parts of your larynx or your pharynx. Your uvular basses are like Starsky bass. One second, guys. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. hey, guy or gal. Hey, one person who's still here. I'm sorry. If that's you, just say something. If it's George or Hanks, who else, just say something. Sorry. Wow. I'm back. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Bro, like, if that is you, you can like chat me to say it's you, or oh, there's a second person. Cool. All right, give me a second, my good people. Um. Um. Okay, so let me just get back to what I was explaining. 5 families, vocal bases, false folds, epiglottal bases, vocal fry related bases, your uvular bases. That's what Brawl is explaining right now, and your suprahyoid muscle related. Your suprahyoid muscle bases. You would call those the evil base family. There's a certain set of your muscles that is responsible for swallowing and gagging reflex, and they're involved in vomiting. They're involved in the sound that comes out when you do vomit. Long story short, there are a bunch of muscles above your Adam's apple if you're a biological male, right here. They're called your suprahyoid muscles because your hyoid bone is like a horseshoe-shaped bone that all human beings have around their neck, and they are called the digastric, which has an anterior and posterior belly. Not that you need to know that. Your digastric, your stylohyoid, your mylohyoid, and your geniohyoid muscles. Your geniohyoid, your stylohyoid, your mylohyoid, and your digastric muscles. I think there's a mnemonic like my gut seems disturbed, MGSD, right? Mylohyoid, geniohyoid, stylohyoid, digastric. I'm sorry I'm being a nerd right now, you guys. Basically, those things are what give Tomazakare his hard bass, and DJ Bean's evil bass, and Mix Effects' evil bass. Those all come from the suprahyoid muscles. And someone just left because I'm boring them. I'm sorry. But what I'm trying to explain to you all is that most basses you hear out there, I've got this theory that they all belong in one of those 5 families. They're either a vocal fry related bass, a uvular bass, a hyoid muscle related bass, a false vocal fold bass, or an epiglottal bass. Most of what you hear that are vocal basses are going to fall under one of those 5 categories. I'm kind of working on this theory. I'm nowhere near as intelligent as like David Larson or Kindred Harvest, if you guys watch them, but I'm trying to help spread knowledge. So, anyways, I'm going to talk to y'all now. Stop myself from talking my own stuff. Brawl Total Olympic. If that's you, if you're that one person, I'm going to just address everything you've said because you've been so patient. So thank you. And if not, I'm still going to address Brawl's comments anyway because that may help this one person who's left. So Brawl said that when I was learning P-Wad's bass, which I don't like calling vocal bass because they're all vocal basses. Oh, hey, Brawl. Okay, cool. It was easier than I expected, but it was hard to get clean. I know a lot of these basses are different. Within each family, the bass variants are similar to each other. Like it's easy to learn D-Low's inward bass when you have regular inward bass, for me at least. But between families, they have different logic. Like throat bass is completely different than your Starsky bass, right? For me, Starsky bass was easy to get, just like for you, but it was hard to get clean because I think on some level I could always do like a vocalized uvula oscillation, which is what it is. It's like when you all the wubs, or the um but it's hard to basically after watching P-Watt's tutorial many times, I found that you really do have to like get your tongue in a certain way that pushes the uvular vibration only in the back of your throat and in your mouth. You can't have it. You want as much space between your uvula oscillating and your lips where the sound's coming out as possible. Like the more unclean it is, the smaller the spaces between the source of the oscillation and where it's exiting your mouth, which is your lips, right? So the cleaner the oscillation, the more you push it back in your throat, the more open space there is between the uvula oscillation and your lip for the Starsky bass. That's not the only way to explain it, but it's a good way to help someone who already knows how to do it, like, get it cleaner. Because when P-Wad says you just got to bury the gargle in your throat, that's I don't know if that can always help all types of people who learn in many different ways, you know. I don't know if that's helpful for all kinds of minds to just say bury the gargle in the back of your throat. And I get that his first language is in English. So I'm not holding that against him. But another way of explaining Starsky bass is to get it clean, Total Olympic, you have to make the space between your uvula oscillating, the gargle, in your lips where the sound's exiting your mouth. You need to make that space as long as possible. Leave as much space. Don't let the gargle be anywhere near the middle of your mouth. It's got to only be isolated right in the back of your pharynx. And another good test to see if you've got Starsky bass to a good level of cleanness is if you get rid of the O lip synth position. If you're doing a clean Starsky bass, my friend, you should be able to still be have a clean Starsky bass without the ooh. If it's dirty, I can't even do it unclean anymore. If you have a clean Starsky bass, my point is you could take away the ooh, the lip synth position, and it would still sound like a Starsky bass, just without the ooh mouth shape. Like, for example, if y'all can hear. See? Still stay clean even though I opened my mouth up. It's not as tiring as other basses that are vocal, honestly, bro. But I really like it because it sounds pretty electronic and it's a more texture than like walk a lonely road, the only road that I have known. No, nay, nay, no, 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 watch him. I walk alone and I walk alone. Wop, 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 wop. I haven't practiced my throat bass in a couple days. No, 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 no. But what's another thing you're saying? You don't understand? Well, Starsky bass is a bass that's built off of your uvula. So that's not something most people naturally vibrate, even most beatboxers starting off. Like, we know how to oscillate our lips, like you know. In our tongues, but oscillating your uvula. We don't use that in our language a lot, at least in the English-speaking world. I can't speak for all cultures because I know in Hebrew and Yiddish they have like kind of guttural or glottal, like uvular kind of consonants. Lachaim, lachaim, But in the English-speaking world, if that's your first language, your uvula is not something you normally know how to do, and it involves raising a part of the back of your tongue in a certain way to kind of block the airflow to force the uvula to vibrate. Oh, okay. I do too. I don't know if you're new, Jacob or Jacob, but what I said earlier was my opinion is that I don't like calling it the vocal bass, and my problem is because I know P-Wad called it that, and that's what really took it off with its name because he gave us a tutorial generously on his sound. But one, there are many vocal basses in beatboxing, right? Like there's your throat bass, whoop, whoop, and there's your vocalized chest bass, whoop, 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 whoop. There's your vocalized high inward bass. There's your the Starsky bass. That's what I like calling it because it was created by the guy named Starsky from France, actually from Lyon, France, which is where Alexinho is actually from. But why not just name it after the guy who created it? Or we could call it uvular bass, but calling it vocal bass isn't very specific. It doesn't describe how it sounds. It doesn't describe what it does. It doesn't describe how to do it. It's non-specific because it can be applied actually to any bass that's from your larynx, Um, they're all vocal basses, like subharmonic register, throat bass, chest bass, evil bass. Those are all vocal basses. So I don't like calling Starsky bass vocal bass because it's kind of a misnomer and it kind of helps to potentially confuse people. I mean, I know beatbox names are arbitrary, but if we have a common language, it'll be easier to spread common knowledge about how these basses work, how to teach them, how to learn them, how to do them. Um, Not I'm trying to sound combative. That's just my personality. I talk a lot. So don't take it personally. But also I kind of come from that generation before PWAD. Like I knew Starsky bass, how to do it and about it before PWAD became a big thing. I learned it like many beatboxers of my generation. I started around like 2016, 2017. I learned it from Alexinho's tutorial on Swiss Beatbox. He called it Starsky bass. It's the name of the guy that discovered it. They're all vocal basses. Vocal bass doesn't describe what it is any more than it does throat bass is. So I think a vocal bass is a type of bass. If you want my opinion, there's two types of basses in beatboxing. There's non-vocal basses and vocal basses. And the non-vocal basses are using oscillators kind of above your throat, outside your voice system, like your lips, lip oscillations, lip rolls, your tongue oscillations, tongue rolls, click rolls. In your cheeks, cheek oscillations like tongue bows, bass cannon, Sinjo's cheek oscillation, or Orodreth from Spain does it too. Orodreth. And your uvula, but in non-vocal ways, like your snort bass, your nose and swallow bass. Or, those are uvular. Those are your non-vocal basses. And then lip bass too. And then your vocal basses, let me just explain this to him, Brawl, before I get to your question. Jabok. Jabok. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Your vocal basses, I kind of have a theory that there are only 5 main families of vocal basses, 5 ways that you can oscillate the different parts of your throat, the different hardware we're all born with, to create the different kinds of basses that you can use from your larynx. Those are your false fold family, your epiglottal family, your vocal fry related family, or your subharmonic family, your suprahyoid muscle family, and your uvular family. Or in other words, your throat bass family, your chest bass family, your subharmonic register or vocal fry family, your evil bass family, and your Starsky bass family. Those are your vocal basses, and then non-vocal basses like lip rolls, lip oscillations, tongue rolls, tongue oscillations, tongue bass, click rolls, snore bass, nose and swallow bass, cheek oscillations, etc., etc. You got me? Okay. So I really like basses, as you guys know, and Jabok, if you weren't here earlier, I have a background in biology academically, and my partner has a background in speech pathology, and she's given me a lot of insight for the anatomy that causes a lot of the vocal basses in our beatboxing community. So I love sharing knowledge on that. I want to help people learn so that they can teach other people. I'd rather have more people be able to do more sounds. One thing I really hate, one thing you guys have to know about me is I hate when people say, "Oh, he can only do that because he's D-Lo and he's got D-Lo's genetics." He can only do that because he's Big Ben and he's a big fat guy, so he can only big fat guys can do vocalized chest bass. Only Mexicans can do evil bass. Only Latinos can do this kind of bass. Only Russians can do this. I hate that kind of shit because that's basically just like elitism, and it's like beatboxing eugenics, where you think that no matter how hard you try, only some people can do some sounds. That's not true at all. Everyone has the hardware and a biological ability to do all of these basses. But a lot of people don't think that and they're misinformed. I want to help break that misconception and help generalize sound knowledge, especially on the vocal basses. You know, like D-Lo inward bass. Starsky bass, vocalized chest bass, No, 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 no. Bass. I can feel it in my brains that I'm about to go insane. Vibration bass, vocalized chest bass. But yeah, I just want to help spread sound knowledge. I don't want to take credit for it. I just want to help us all have a common understanding and a common to understand these sounds with, because they're fucking amazing. And beatboxing is magic, that the human voice can do all this. Anyways, Brawl. Can I ask how much time you've been beatboxing? Well, like a lot of millennials in America, I learned the boots and cats, like just the simple hip hop percussion beatboxing as a phase when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11, right? Simple shit. But I didn't really get into it until basically I saw Napalm and the Napalm videos from like GBB 2015 through 2017. I was absolutely blown away. Had no idea you could, beatbox in other electronic music genres like, besides hip hop, like trap music and house music, EDM, dubstep, rhythm, drum and bass, all that kind of shit. How did I get done? I love that shit. And his lip roll, I had to learn it. That was the most inhumane thing I'd ever heard. That's what really sparked my interest and lit my fire. All that happened, I would say, in 2016 when I was still in college. A friend of mine, um, he introduced me to the 2016 era of global beatboxing. And as you all know, Europe had it way before us. The USA created beatboxing, but then it kind of died in the 90s. And then Europe really took hold of beatboxing and then made it kind of a not an international, but like a with between different countries. So yeah, an international sport and art form. And then it kind of got revived in America, but with from the likes of the beatbox house like Mark Martin, Kayla Milady, Napalm, Gene Shinazaki, Chris Elise, Kenny Urban, Amit, the guys, right? Um, so I got into beatboxing like 2016, 2017. I started right away, but I was really bad, and I don't think I really improved in the normal way that most people do. Because I came into beatboxing as a multi instrumentalist and a singer. I had 4 years of a cappella background in college, and I played piano for like over 13 years. I played guitar for over 7 years. I played bass guitar for over 5 years. I played percussion, like drum set, um, lots of string instruments. I was in orchestra like all my primary school to secondary school life. So like good 13 years of viola, chamber or not chamber orchestra, symphony orchestra. There you go. So I have a lot of melodic knowledge and I know music theory. I can break down beats and flow. And I have a good sense of harmonization and rhythm. I basically have almost no technicality. I'm really bad at tech. A lot of the years of my beatboxing went into the knowledge of learning the sounds I wanted to learn. And these past, I think, 1 or 2 years, these last two, my most recent years in beatboxing, it's been all about vocal bases. Like I could make really good routines if I wanted to. Like not good for like everyone, but like you guys have seen my stuff, and if you think that's good, like I think it's shit, and it's like not at all representative of like what I can do. But I don't put time into making routines yet, or I mainly put time into learning new sounds and polishing my sounds. And I know that sounds really like quantity over quality, but I'm almost done with my like wish list of sounds that I set out for myself a year ago. Every year I kind of have like a solution of beatbox goals to have. And last year it was to learn a bunch of sounds that I basically have learned all of them, like post snare, pitch snare, tomazakare hard bass. I'm almost there. Roll, various types of scratches, polyphonic voice, double voice, like sideways yodel, shogo double voice. I got those goals down. But along my journey, I started discovering and kind of understanding that there could be maybe a way of understanding all the vocal bases in beatboxing. So a lot of my time, especially these past like 9 months during the COVID pandemic, it's all been researching, understanding, and learning how to explain the beatbox vocal bases. It's so fucking cool. It's my passion, if you guys can't tell. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I have some routines. um, I do mostly covers basically, but my strengths are I am musical. I learn basses pretty easily, like vocal basses too. I know how to sing and sing in my falsetto. I'm comfortable singing with my beatboxing. Um, I can pretty much like break down like from a cognitive point of view many electric genres. So I could like freestyle routines in most genres, but they wouldn't be good. But that's just because I haven't spent a lot of time polishing my composition. But I have good composition. It's just I don't have many routines I've created to show. I do have some. Oh, thank you, Jacob. Nice basses. Yeah, dude, Napalm sub bass in those videos. Oh my god, I know, right? Well, actually, I didn't really appreciate his sub bass subwoofer lip roll at first because I was just listening on headphones that weren't very good. I was most inspired by his basic lip roll. A lot of people don't know this, but I like learning about sounds history and where they come from. I actually found this knowledge out from Kim's interview with Scott Jackson for Beyond the Beat Swiss Beatbox. If anyone wants to see what I saw, basically, the wet lip roll that you all know, that's the really dark one that's wet and it doesn't require your breath. Lots of people like Tyler W. Call it the basic lip roll. It actually has a name. Like most people don't know that, but it actually has a name. I don't even think Napalm calls it by that name, but it does. It's called the Hungarian lip roll, which is actually really cool. Shout out to the Hungarian beatbox community. Because basically, according to Kim, he learned it from basically a Hungarian beatboxer who is part of or knows people from the didgeridoo community. The didgeridoo is like a wooden instrument that doesn't have any internal structure, and to play it is a very special art form that you have to learn, that which requires a certain principle called circular breathing, where you're like breathing out and activating like vocalizations using the instrument to amplify yourself and breathing in at the same time. It's really cool. It's very adjacent to beatboxing in terms of a lot of skills. If you guys watch like the didgeridoo battles, like in France, they use lip rolls and lip oscillations like we do. It's really cool. Basically, long story short, you guys know that? You know that the basic lip roll where it goes out and in. Nah, my lip rolls aren't always good. That's called the Hungarian lip roll. That came from the didgeridoo technique, basically. And I got inspired from the Hungarian lip roll, basically. But I learned all the other variants, like the inward lip roll, the subwoofer lip roll, the growling lip roll, the punchy tongue codfish lip roll, it up lip roll, teeth lip roll, reverse lip roll, like the heavy napalm subwoofer lip roll. So it's basically the growling lip roll and the subwoofer lip roll combined. So mixed with gets you. Esh, real trap music goes like. Oh, thanks, Jeffco. I appreciate that. I don't know. Like learning the lip roll was hard, but once I got the Hungarian one, a lot of people like my friend who got me into beatboxing, he learned all the others before the Hungarian. I don't even think he knows how to do the Hungarian lip roll. I think that's a bad idea. Here's why. The hardest lip roll, in my opinion, is the Hungarian lip roll. The basic one, that's the hardest to do. Once you get that, you basically apply that position, but just use your breath instead of pressure, and it's a lot easier to learn all the other ones. So I don't know. I don't know how they got clean. Like I knew for a time I was doing all the lip rolls, but I wasn't doing them powerfully. And then I think one day I kind of just was like, What if I like move my mouth more like this? It wasn't over time. Like literally, it was like, oh my god, all this time, I could have been doing lip rolls a lot louder, and I just wasn't opening my mouth enough. But I was doing all the right positioning and the airflow, you know. So thank you, I appreciate that. I guess it was easy for me to get them clean. Um, I guess I do them all the time. They're not even the main bass I use, but it's really useful because you don't need to tire your voice out to create bass if you know lip rolls or lip basses. It gives you a way to get breath in, and if you do know vocal basses like I do, it's like a nice way to switch up your style. You know, I don't even use the subwoofer lip one. I just got my first mic like a couple months ago, but I use a guitar amp, so you can't really pick up subwoofer frequencies on that. So I mostly use the heavy subwoofer. I'd say that's called the growling. I don't always need to though. Like for softer stuff, I should be using like the inward lip roll. Everybody get a rave like. Take it one down and I drop it like that. Boom, 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 when I break it with a boom, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm not treating my throat bass right so well right now. Um, see, my problem is sometimes I get into these points where I kind of forget how to do a Hungarian lip roll properly, so I can do it to get the oscillation, but it won't hold out. Like I forget how to make it longer, but I can do every other lip roll just fine because they're breathing. But it's like the mouth pressure for that one. It was like the first lip roll I learned, but it's still the one you always have to constantly come back to. Otherwise, I think for me, it slips. Every other thing, like I think one of the first things I could do as a bass was like the lip oscillation. You know. I'll see you there. I'll see you there. Hold on, guys. My computer's gonna shut off without getting proper power. So, I'm gonna give it power. Hold on, computer. Don't die on me now. There we go. There we go. Hey, come on. You better register. Here we go. Sorry, guys. You guys want me to answer any questions on how to? Oh, Jabok, Jabok. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. What sounds are you trying to learn right now? Do you need any help learning some sounds? You want to trade stories about most sought after sounds or sounds that you're most proud of yourself for learning? Yeah, I'm all ears, man. Um, oh, by the way, whoever's watching, because there's like two people watching, um, you guys should shout out what country you're watching me from. You're watching me from, you know? I love how beatbox is an international community, and I love how it lets you gives us a common language and passion to uh, you know, um, pursue and form a community around with friends from around the world. I love that about beatboxing. So, yeah, guys, comment. Yeah, but by the way, to get back to your original question, Brawl, I've been beatboxing, I guess, 2021 wise. Oh, no one's watching. Okay. I guess I've been beatboxing 2021 wise for about, I can't really say like 5 years, 2016, because I wasn't really serious then. I think I really seriously started like 2017, 2018. So I would say I've been beatboxing for like 3 or 4 years, I guess. I'm nowhere near as good as like some most people who beatbox for 3 or 4 years. But a lot of my knowledge has went to and time and commitment has went to really specific um aspects of beatboxing, I guess you could say. So for what I do know about beatboxing, I would like to say I I'm pretty knowledgeable in compared to the average person in the beatboxing community. But for the average person that's been beatboxing for as long as I have, I'm definitely probably like not even top 100, not even top 1,000, not even top 10,000 probably. You know, I'm musical, I can sing, I have a very good decent knowledge of flow, rhythm patterns, genre motifs, and showmanship. Um and I consider myself I pretty committed to learning sounds, and I think I learn them pretty fast and eventually if it takes me a while. What I don't have is I don't have tech. I don't have a lot of battle experience. I have battled before. And right, I'm not doing that skill list. That me learning how to BTK was like 2016, so I wasn't counting that year. I don't know how long you were here, but I basically said I like started falling in love with beatboxing during the second wave, I guess, with Napalm like 2016 era. So yeah, I know it's all about dedication. I I'm more dedicated to beatboxing, I would say, than I guess most other things right now in my life. I'm very passionate about it, but it drains you. But it's still very fulfilling. But basically, skillless. I've been beatboxing seriously since 2017 or 2018, and that's not BTK. It's like that's me like learning sounds, learning the zipper, learning the lip rolls, doing them in beats. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, yeah, I've been beatboxing for 3 to 4 years, but most people that have been beatboxing for 3 to 4 years are gonna completely like outclass me and outmatch me in a battle or in a showcase. Most people who've been beatboxing for as long as I have are way better than me. But what I was explaining was what I do have, I think, are maybe some of the average beatboxers is I have good sound knowledge and good sound intuition. I learn sounds very easily and I can sing and I'm not afraid to be on a stage because I was a musician and a singer before a beatboxer. And I also know music theory and I have a pretty good understanding of flow, rhythm, structure, rhythm motifs for different genres. And especially vocal bases. I consider myself someone who can both sing and do many different types of vocal bases. So that's like something I'd like to say that I have over the average beatboxer, and I can explain them instead of just being able to do them. Um, well, I mean, and the thing is, I have done showcases and I have done battles before. It's just I'm very limited in my like experience because most of my time in the beatboxing journey that I've been on has been acquiring knowledge, like sounds and stuff. Oh yeah, completely, dude. I think I don't think I've won a battle. I think all the battles I've done, I've lost. I know, and it's so fun because you get to pit your style of this really cool art that we have that's like a second language called beatboxing. You get to pit your style against someone else's style, and it's like It's a way for two minds to compete and also converse with each other in a way that doesn't need language, or doesn't need the spoken language. Yeah, what's your question, man? I love trap music. I love trap. Oh no, I can do the hollow lip roll too, for if anyone's still here. I was talking about lip rolls earlier. Let's say I'm going to street perform. Okay. Oh yeah, whoever's still watching, shout me out where you're watching me from, what country you're watching me from, or if you're in the United States, what state you're watching me from. I love how beatboxing connects people from all around the world from different cultures. So it's really cool to learn about other people's cultures through that. Oh yeah, I feel you. I know people are hating on people that do that, and I understand that. And I think my thoughts on that are, it's both okay in certain spaces, situations, to certain crowds, around certain spaces, and as a certain level of beatboxer, and it's not okay in other spaces, crowd situations, or as a different level of beatboxer. And let me explain. I think I don't want to make any assumptions, but I assume that you, me, whoever else is watching, we're all not Napalm. We're all not Elise. We're all probably not even like regional level. We're just at this point, the level you could say we're casual beatboxers that are very invested in it. Like we're not professional beatboxers and we're not invested in it to the point where we are going to be the ones that you see in the Swiss beatbox videos on. Oh, let's stay Adele songs. Oh, I see copying other guys. Oh, I see what you're saying. Romania, cool, man. Shout out to our Romanian brothers and sisters. I don't know if you ever knew Wondering, but he was a Romanian beatboxer. He was a legend with the bass. So shout out to the Balkans, the Balkan beatbox community. So it's okay when you're that level of a beatboxer, when you're casual, when you're not competitive level. It's okay to copy other people's routines. It might not be effective. If you're doing it to certain crowds that know beatboxers well, you might not get a lot of points. You might not win for originality. But if that's all you can do, or if that's what you want to invest your time in learning so that you can get better at beatboxing, there's nothing wrong with that. And people may judge you, but that's okay because that's just their opinion. I don't think it's constructive. Like when they say you shouldn't do that, it's bad, or you're just being a bad beatboxer. I disagree because a lot of our beatboxers we look up to, they learn by imitating first. That's how humans work. Eventually you won't need to copy other beatboxers' routines because the idea is you'll find your own style. You'll learn enough sounds and you'll understand enough about how to structure songs or routines where you can put forth art that's original with your beatboxing. When it comes to street performing, not even battling, I know what we're talking about is not always the case, but even when you're street performing, that's not wrong to do someone else's routine. I try to err on the side of caution. Like if someone's going to upload that and then it somehow gets back to the beatbox community from all these non-beatboxers who think I'm fucking amazing because I'm doing vibration bass, but it's really just inertia's routine. I kind of inoculate myself against any kind of accusation of biting by saying a shout out to whoever I'm doing the routine of. Like trust me, I know where you're coming from. Like I know a lot of beatbox songs. I do. Like I could do over an hour's worth. I have before at an open mic, but all of them are like other beatboxers' routines, but that's fine. They're still works of art. And especially the beatboxers I like, they're musical works of art. They require time and dedication and muscle memory to be developed for, especially like singing and switching between different vocal techniques, like vocal bases, right? Like P-Wad, Codfish, even some of Napalm's song routines, like baby, we can't have no babies, no. I don't want no relationship with a. Just call it what I want to do. No, 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 yo, That was shit. But I'm sorry about that. What I was basically saying, skillless, is that yeah, it's just like covering an Adele song. All you're doing is covering a work that another beatboxer created. Um, I don't know how much you heard or missed, but I was basically saying there's no shame in that. You and I aren't Napalm or Alexinho, and when you're on a competitive level, I think there's the kind of expectation that everyone's got a certain level of originality down where you shouldn't need to copy other people's routines or rely on other people's beatbox compositions, to battle with or to showcase with. But if you're on the level we are, like that's just casual beatboxing, why is it wrong for me to learn how to play Moonlight Sonata on the piano even though I didn't write it? Why is it wrong for me to learn how to play Ode to Joy on my viola if I'm not Beethoven? You're covering another artist's work. You may not have created it, but as long as you pay homage to the beatboxer who originally created that routine, like I told you, like give a shout out to King Inertia, shout out to Kindo, shout out to Napalm, um, just to protect yourself in case like maybe footage of you doing that gets back to the beatbox community if you were say performing for a non-beatbox crowd. As long as you like pay proper respects and homage to who originally created it, that's not wrong at all, because at our level that's how you learn and better yourself as a beatboxer, by challenging yourself with routines that are already created. You're covering a routine. It shouldn't be any different for beatboxing. If it's okay to cover things on the guitar, like Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day, if it's okay for me to entertain a room full of people with that, as long as I pay respects to who created the song, if it's okay on the viola or the piano or the bass guitar, it should be just as okay on beatboxing, because that's an instrument too. It's just our body that's the instrument. Now, what I was saying, Skillless, that you didn't hear was that when people say that you shouldn't copy other people's beatboxing routines, even if it's a showcase or street performing, I would also just want you to be a critical thinker and maybe ask, why are they saying that? Because you could have people saying you shouldn't be copying other people's beatbox routines for more than one reason. For example, it could actually be coming from a place of care or a place of constructive criticism. Like, I know that you're good enough as a beatboxer where you don't need to copy someone else's routines, because I know you're original enough where you would be able to create something that people would enjoy on their own, on your own. You know what I'm saying? That's different than just someone saying like, "Oh, fuck you for copying Alexinho's routine," or "fuck you for copying Napalm's routine. I don't like that, and I don't like you for doing that." I think that makes you a bad beatboxer. I think that makes you a lazy beatboxer. I think that's more coming from a place of pettiness rather than a place of constructive criticism. So when people say that you shouldn't copy beatbox routines when you're street performing, or they express that they wouldn't want you to, I just give you the caveat that that's not always going to come from the same place. Because someone saying that I think you're a good enough beatboxer where you don't need to copy someone else's routines, that's coming from a different mindset and a different energy, and you can consider that differently than someone that's just trying to be spiteful and saying, that from a place of pettiness, skillless. So people at our level, that's completely okay. It's just like covering a song that someone else composed on an instrument. Just shout them out, I would say. And if anyone hates on you, like I said, you can examine what they're saying and inquire into why they may be saying it. But if it's from a place of pettiness, you might as well ignore it, right? It doesn't, it shouldn't affect you to any degree that you can let it. Um, well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Um, I don't know. I wasn't like a young kid when I came into beatboxing, so I kind of learned a lot of life lessons before I came into beatboxing. I started beatboxing at like 21 or 20. I'm like, God, really. Um, but yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, because like, yeah, you guys didn't even hear me, I guess, because my sound was off. But I was like, I could fill up a whole hour's worth of beatboxing. I know that many routines, right? Almost none of them are original. They're all like codfish and even napalm stuff. And PWAD stuff, and I shout them out and I pay homage to the people who originally created those routines. I know that because I've done an hour's worth of an open mic of just beatboxing routines. And normal people love that shit. And it helps them love beatboxing. It helps them understand that beatboxing is more than just boots and cats and old school hip hop stuff, from like the Razel days. And all the respect and love to Razel. But a lot of Americans don't know of beatboxing beyond that, because America kind of lost beatboxing after we created it. Whereas Europe you guys kind of took it and created an international community with it. And then we kind of got back into beatboxing again, like I said, with thanks to the likes of Kayla Milady, Mark Martin, the Beatbox House, Napalm, Gene Shinazaki, Chris Solis, Kenny Urban, Amit, and also like Kid Lucky, you know, and a lot of the New York scene, you know, and Bloomer and Villain, you know, and all these OGs from the States. They helped make America relevant in beatboxing again. So we created it, but Europe definitely took it and created the basis for the international scene that we have today with it, you know. So Europeans basically were, for the most of beatbox history, always more like serious about movement of beatboxing that never died in Europe than in America. For us, it like kind of almost died and then got revived. You know, we're in like the second wave. Um, cool, man. That's cool. You had breaks in between. I know, right? I know, but it's also kind of less lucky because again, I honestly do think Europeans are some of the best beatboxers in the world, but then Asians are so good, and then Latin Americans are so good too. Everyone's becoming so good, and Australians are a different kind of good, and they're just amazing. But I will say this: America, there's a lot less amazing beatboxers number wise than Europe. So I think that Europeans are unlucky because if you're coming up like us, where we're just casual, there's a lot less competition in America than in Europe. But on the other hand, in Europe, there's a lot more good beatboxers. So I feel like there's a lot more flow of information, of teaching, of high leveling up, you know. Yeah, you guys were like we created beatboxing. Like you can't take that away. And it wasn't us specifically, it was Black Americans, Black African Americans created beatboxing. You can't deny that, right? Like Michael Winslow, like Razel, like, you know, Dougie Fresh. But it basically died in America after the 90s. Europe definitely pioneered beatboxing, and we didn't make it an international scene. America just created it. Europe is why it's an international scene and a sport and a battle. And yeah, absolutely. You know, like I got inspired by Europeans before Americans, besides Napalm. Like I loved Napalm and the Beatbox House, but I didn't really care for American beatboxers that much, like how I cared for Alexinho and Alem and Ziti and Skiller and D'Lo, you know, and Decca and Freddie Beats, you know, and Babbly and Big Ben, you know, all Europeans that inspired me. And then Asians too, like Wing and Hiss and Shogo, of course, and Bateko, of course. Yeah, but anyway, and then the Southeast Asians, that's a whole other level of community. The Indonesians and Malaysians, oh my God, Hartzel is like one of my favorite beatboxers right now. But yeah, I am on the Discord servers. Literally, just find me, dude. Like it's my name, Alkmi. I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of YouTube subscribers, but I love sharing knowledge. You weren't here earlier, Skillless, so go on the Beatbox Reddit if you haven't already and look up the 5 families of vocal bases in beatboxing, and you'll see the document I published. It's kind of like I think it's like 20 pages. You don't have to read all of it, but it's basically many of the common bases in beatboxing that bass, subharmonic register bass, Endell's bass, poly sub bass, which is indicators bass, many inward bass variants, um, Starsky bass, all of those. I explain how they work, what anatomy causes them, how they feel, how they sound, you know. So go ahead and check it out, Skillless. I can even send it to you if you'd like. But yeah, I am on the Discord servers. Just find me, friend me, whatever. Just find Alkmi Beats, Alkmi. Um, yeah, guys. How do we start talking about that tangent? Dude, I know. And it's not so you weren't here earlier, so basically I'll spare you the speech, but I don't believe that certain sounds are just because of genetics or because of someone's ethnicity. But I do believe certain communities who contain people that create sounds, like Evil Bass was created by a Portuguese person, Mix Effects. So a lot of Latin Americans and Latinos and Brazilians know Evil Bass, I think, because within a culture, sounds are more easily spread and quickly spread than outside of a culture. So sounds can end up becoming culturally specific or culturally locked. But I fucking hate how people think, oh, it's because he's got D-Lo genes that he can do D-Los in word bass. Oh, it's because Big Ben is a big fat guy, and that's why he can do very low vocalized chest bass. It's because Thomas Acre is Latino, that's why he can do hard bass. It's like, no, it's because, like, for example, many Indonesians could do the pitch snare long before anyone else could do it besides River, because it was created by an Indonesian Rafla, you know? You know? It was created by an Indonesian. So there were more tutorials on it in Malay and in Indonesian, in Bahai Indonesia, you know? So it doesn't mean that Indonesians are just genetically better at doing the pitch snare. It's just it was created by an Indonesian, and most of the tutorials that were first on it for like the first like year, because I trust me, I've looked up all the tutorials on pitch snare because I really wanted to learn it for the longest time, were in Indonesian, you know? So sounds can become culturally locked, but that doesn't disclude people from outside that culture from learning them. Like how River can do the pitch snare, and he's not Indonesian, he's French, he's French Colombian. Um, but there are trends within countries, you know, and it's really cool how there are. I like talking about that. Like there are a lot of really good throat bass users in Australia that do it just like Codfish, who actually does it like lucrative. And a lot of people don't know that Codfish got that cool kind of halftime hip hop all throat bass vocal style from lucrative first. Cool, dude. You added me on Discord. And then like I think like Latinos, the Latino community, there's lots of whistles that propagate throughout the Latino community, and there's lots of evil bass as well. I think Americans and UKers really like lip rolls, and lip basses. Canadians are all about hip hop flow. Oh my God, Canadians are all about flow. Like there are certain Canadians that focus on sounds, like Andre with his laser lip rolls, but like Sparks, like Elise, like Scott Jackson, like um Vino. They're not so much about sounds. Well, Vino's the OD bass god, but they're about flow, and a lot of it's like hip hop, like these new school hip hop, but like with still old school influences. I think that's really cool. And then of course, as D'Lo famously said in GBB 2019, leave the drum and bass for the UK. Am I right, you guys? I can do all the basses, but I try to understand. Yeah, dude. Oh, you've already seen it? Oh, cool, man. Well, if you have any questions on that resource, ask me now. Or if you don't agree with me on anything, also you should talk about it, because maybe I'm wrong on something, or maybe we can learn from each other. Um, how many vocal basses can I do? I can do throat bass, the not whispery, not Codfish one, like the Marcus Perez one. Wop, whoa, wop, hi, la, beatboxing, and then the whispery one, vibration bass. I can do chest bass. I can do vocalized chest bass. I can do high vocalized chest bass. I can do slizzer bass. I can do Benja's vocalized chest bass. I can do vocal fry. I can do inward vocal fry. I can do subharmonic register. I can do NL's bass, electric bass. I can do poly sub bass, which is indicator's bass. I'm not that loud with it though. I can do inward bass. I can do vocalized inward bass. I can do hollow inward vocalized inward bass. I can do high vocalized inward bass. I can do D-low inward bass. I can do Starsky bass. I can do. I'm working on evil bass. I won't show you guys that because it's no progress. Yeah, what was that? 10, 15. I think like variation, and then I can do like bass Venturas. I think vocalized chest bass. It's not picking up that well in here. So that's like 20, 21 different kinds of vocal bases. I may be down for a chat later. It all depends, man. I have some plans tonight, but I'll let you know. In the States here, it's like 7 o'clock p.m. So I think I'm gonna head off though, unless you guys have any other questions for me. I'm kind of hungry. So I think I'm gonna eat some food. Um, yeah, but while I'm still here, if anyone who's still here has any questions for me on how certain vocal bases work, you can ask them now. I'm gonna go get some water. Is more tight the bass. Are you asking me that, or are you telling me that? Because yes, the bass Ventura vocalized chest bass, it is a variant of vocalized chest bass, but it is definitely more tighter. And in posture, it feels similar to Slizery bass, but on the low end of your vocalization, if that makes any sense. And if that doesn't, I can explain to anyone who wants to hear later. But the bass that I believe that I can do, that is, I believe, is the same as bass Ventura's bass, which I can't do as well as him, but I believe I can do. Because I've always known that you can change vocalized chest bass by adding more pressure. And if you add a certain amount of pressure, there's a point where it will take on a different kind of texture. There will be a growl and a thickness that was not there with regular vocalized chest bass. Yeah. No, you're correct. Yeah, it is more tight, the bass Ventura chest bass. Well, I was doing it a little too tight earlier, I think. That's why it wasn't coming out correctly. But like if you guys watch my video, like it sounds pretty close to me. Like I have two videos where I'm doing it, I think. One in my car and the other just in my apartment. Like you'll see them. Love. Like that's the normal one. Love. Love, 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 love. And then the bass Ventura one, or what the one I think is the bass Ventura one, is. I've been thinking about you, babe. I've been thinking about you, baby. I've been trying no so hard. I've been thinking about you, baby. Been crying so. Um. Yeah, but yeah, if no one's got anything else going on, well, you know what? I'll stay on a little longer. I got one more thing I can do. I'm thinking about you, baby. We are gonna fall, fall, fall. You know just what to say. Things that to me I shouldn't just walk away. But I move my feet. The more that I know you, the more I want to. Yeah, something. All right, man. Peace out. It was nice getting to meet you, and I look forward to a chat later. If not tonight, later on. When am I available? I can let you know if I'm available later tonight, but if not, I'll definitely be available. Like, I'm sorry, man. I don't know the time zone in the Balkans or in Romania, so I'm sure that you're ahead of me. But in a very selfish American centric way, I'm just gonna tell you when I'm available in my time because I'm a little hungry right now, so I can't even properly think about how far ahead you are from me. So I'll just tomorrow I will be available, I guess, anytime after, I would say 9 a.m. in the morning, my time, and my time being Central Standard Time. So um, I'm sorry, like I know America just makes the rest of the world just think on its terms, and we're a fucking empire, and I really don't like my country for that. But unfortunately, I'm gonna be telling you when I'm available in American terms. If you know what CST is, Central Standard Time, um, yeah, if you know what CST is, it's like the time zone for the middle part of America, basically, of the United States of America. It's from the Midwest to the East Coast. It I will be available tomorrow morning if I'm not available later tonight. I may be available tonight. I have things to do, but I may not take all night to do them. You know what I'm saying? It won't take me all night to do them. So I definitely foresee myself. Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I wish you could talk on here. Like, if there's some way to like let you talk to me, I don't mind that at all. Like, I would just let you talk to me on my own live stream, because there's only like two people on here. I don't mind at all. It's just I don't know if there's a way for us to do that. Um, and the thing is, like, I would just talk to you on Discord now, but I really got to do this thing because if I don't, I'm gonna be putting it off all night, and I still got to eat. You know. Um, what do you mean it ain't? It ain't what? It ain't what? Like it doesn't. YouTube doesn't let you talk to me. Is that what you're saying? Skillless. I think is cool. Romanian is a Latin language and culture, like Spanish and like Spain and Portugal and France and Italy. But you guys are, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't know a lot about Romanian culture, you guys are influenced a lot by the Slavic cultures that are around y'all, and because you're Balkan too. So it's like the only main Latin Romance descended country and culture that is as influenced by, I guess, Slavic culture as is. I mean, I guess you could say Montenegro is too, or maybe they're the opposite. They're a Latin influenced Slavic culture, but I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Right, yeah, like you guys. Well, I mean, I want to ask you because I know Romanian comes from Latin, but ethnically, do you guys consider yourself more Slavic than Latin, or do you guys consider yourself Latin and just influenced by Slavic, or both? Like I think that's cool. Like I love learning about people's cultures. That's another hobby of mine. Um, and I know about the Romani people, and I don't like calling them gypsies because I know that's offensive and it's not correct because Europeans mislabeled them as that, thinking they were Egyptians. And I think Romani culture is awesome and beautiful. Um, and I've heard Romania is just very like not mountains, but don't you guys have a lot of forests? I think that's beautiful. Like I'm a hippie. I love trees. I love forests. I'd love to go to Romania. Um, Do you know double voice? Well, the thing is, Army Pawatra, I'm going to give you an answer that you probably have heard of before, but there's many different double voices. So I know some double voice, but I don't know like the 2H one, for example, the old man one. I know the Shogo one. I know if you're talking about sideways yodeling, the Shogo one. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I do know one. I also know polyphonic voice. And like I can kind of do like a double voice like transition with the polyphonic voice. But yeah, I know the Shogo one. Right, right. But I mean, like, and I'm not trying to argue against you, but I'm just genuinely curious as an outsider. I speak Spanish and I've studied French. So I'm decently aware about Latin cultures and the Romance languages and how they came from Vulgar Latin in the various parts that Rome colonized and imperialized. But I know Romania is different than Spain, France, Italy. You know, um, um, I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry. Catalonian, and other Latin languages. But so, do you guys not consider yourselves like Latin at all? Like just Slavic, or rather, maybe is it like ethnically you guys consider yourselves a Slavic people, but your language is a Latin language? Is it like that? Yeah, so the problem is Army Pawatra, if you're watching certain tutorials like Shiros, he was used to be known as Sharky from UK. I love him. He's amazing at uvular sounds. Or Kirby from Sweden, I think, or Norway. They are not teaching Shogo double voice, but they are teaching a kind of double voice like sound. It's just a different sound. It's like they're like actually cracking their voice from falsetto to chest voice and then bringing it back up. That's not actually how Shogo does it. That's not how sideways yodeling is done, and that's not how Antel does it either. And that's not how Ping Pong Po does it. They do it the way Shogo does it. Well, Antel does it a different way, but they are using the same principle that Shogo's using. Kirby and Shiro do not use. Yeah, yeah, I'm mixed race too, man. Well, I mean, I'm Asian, but I'm bi-ethnic. I'm mixed ethnicity, so I'm Korean and Japanese actually. So yeah, that's cool. Like Romanians are dope as fuck. You should teach me how to say thank you or my name is Alkmi. In Romanian. That's cool. I'd love to learn that, man. Um, but so the misconception is Shogo even called it a crack, but there's no crack in the true double voice. It's a transition. That's the best way I can say it. It's almost like a spring or a flick. Your voice flicks. But I can help you get that. I can help teach you what I was taught to learn it. Just let me take my hit first. Yo, shout out to our Romanian brothers and sisters. Army Pawatra, wherever you're from, shout out to your community too. Whoever's watching, comment where you're watching me from, what country or what state of the United States you're watching me from. I love our international community. I think I know the least about Romania of all the major Latin descended languages or cultures. I know the least about Romanian. That's a shame. I'd love to learn. You guys are by Moldova, right? You guys are by Bulgaria, Moldova, and the Ukraine, I think. I mean, you could just type like the Romanian word for thank you, or my name is Alkmi here. Like, I may not pronounce it right, but I wouldn't mind just seeing how it's written, even if you can't speak it to me, because because of various historical reasons, all of which being due to imperialism. Most people in the world speak English. I don't have to learn other people's languages if I don't want to as an English speaker, but I don't think that's fair, I think we should all want to learn other people's cultures and languages just as much. Every other culture has to learn English to be involved in world commerce and business and mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. I hope there aren't any silent letters or interesting phonemes. Mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. I don't know if I'm saying cool. It doesn't look at all like grazie or gracia, gracias or merci, which are French, Italian, and Spanish way of saying thank you. The T is like a hi-hat. Oh, mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. Well, where's the accent? Which syllable is the accent on? Mo, to, or mesc? Is it mulțumesc? Mulțumesc. Or is it mulțumesc? 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 Or is it mulțumesc? Like basically which syllable contains the stress of the word. But yeah, I can explain it though, Army. You're still listening. I'm sorry I got on a tangent. It's one of your characters, T. Well, no, that's not what I'm asking, Skilless. I asked you what stress is the syllable on. I'm sorry. Which syllable is the stress on? In multumesk, where do you emphasize the accent? Mesk. Okay, so multumesk. Did I say that right? Multumesk. Multumesk. Am I saying mesk right? Multumesk. But I'm saying the rhythm, right? Even if I'm not pronouncing it right, I'm saying the rhythm, right? Right? Like the stress is on the last syllable. Multumesk. 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 That's cool, man. So the Shogo double voice is like this. There's not really a crack, it's more like a flick. So here's how motu motu. That's weird. Saying the hi-hat, like the T, I can do the T hi-hat, but doing that but not stressing the syllable that it's on is counterintuitive for me as an English speaker at least. So it's T hi-hat, right? Motu, but then mesk is the accent, the stress. Motu motumesk. 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 Did I say that right? Motumesk. 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 Did I say that right? Motumesk. 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 Um so Army. Oh shit, you may have left because I'm so sorry, Army. Okay, so Army, if you're still here, what you do to get the flick, not the crack, for the Shogo double voice is you're using your head, your falsetto and your head voice. Shogo was correct in saying that. Kind of what he didn't describe is what helped me transition between the two is you want to say your falsetto with a certain syllable. You want to say it with an ng, like hung, hung. Um, Kindred Harvest has a lot of Southeast Asian last names, like I think maybe Vietnamese or Laotian last names. I think they have that syllable, that ng, ng, ng. Mm. So if you go hung, 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 that gets you in a really good um, spot to make that transition happen between the falsetto and the head voice. What you do from that point is you say hung, and then try to do your head voice, which is the exact same vocalization you make for a vocalized cough snare. Like, you know how to do that? It's a combination, you know, that's not your falsetto, that's your head voice. And if you do your falsetto with the ng sound, and you do basically at that exact moment after you do your falsetto, immediately just do your head voice. Immediately do the voice of your vocalized cough snare. So just go falsetto with the ng sound, and then the vocalized cough snare. Go. And that sounds goofy, but if you start taking away the cough from the vocalized cough snare, and it's just the falsetto to the that gets you. Your falsetto doesn't crack, but it almost pops into your head voice. Feels like the air is getting pulled back into your mouth, if that makes sense. And then you can change how long you hold the falsetto, like or does that make sense? I don't know. Molto mesco. Molto mesco. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go get some. I'm gonna go get some grub inside of my snub. But you guys have a great rest of your night. Peace and love. Stay safe out there. And yeah, I may do one of these again. Ash.